Can people really change? Or are we just playing the role society has written for us? The Bad Guys is about a crew of criminal animals led by Mr. Wolf who've spent their entire lives being villains because that's what everyone expects from them. When a heist goes wrong, Wolf sees an opportunity to pretend they're going good to avoid prison. But the act of pretending starts to become something real. Released in 2022 by DreamWorks, this film is a stylish heist comedy with slick animation and humor, but underneath it's asking whether people are defined by their stereotypes, whether genuine change is possible when everyone's already decided who you are, and what it means to choose goodness when being bad has always been easier. It's fast-paced and funny, but also emotionally honest about identity, redemption, and the difference between performing goodness and actually being good. Welcome to Picture Mavericks. Today we're exploring what makes The Bad Guys more than just a heist film, how it handles themes of prejudice and change, and why this story about criminals becoming heroes resonates with anyone who's been judged before being known. Let's begin. The Bad Guys are a crew of notorious criminals. Mr. Wolf is the charming leader, Mr. Snake is the safecracker and Wolf's best friend, Mr. Shark is the master of disguise, Mr. Piranha is the muscle, and Ms. Tarantula is the hacker. They're all predator species that society fears and expects to be dangerous, so they've embraced those expectations and become the best criminals around. After a botched heist to steal a golden dolphin statue, Wolf has an unexpected experience. When he helps an old lady, she thanks him and smiles at him with genuine warmth. For the first time in his life, someone treated him as good rather than dangerous. The feeling is intoxicating. Wolf sees an opportunity. Professor Marmalade, a reformed criminal guinea pig who's now beloved as a philanthropist, offers to rehabilitate the bad guys as a social experiment. Wolf convinces his crew to fake reformation to avoid prison and plan an even bigger heist from the inside. They begin the rehabilitation process publicly, learning to do good deeds while secretly maintaining their criminal plans. But something shifts for Wolf. The more he acts good, the more he experiences being treated with respect and kindness rather than fear. The performance starts feeling less like a performance. The crew plans to steal the golden dolphin again during Marmalade's charity gala, using their good guy cover as the perfect disguise. But Wolf's growing genuine desire to change creates tension with Snake, who believes they're predators and should embrace what they are rather than pretending to be something else. During the gala, the heist goes forward, but Wolf realizes he doesn't want to steal anymore. He tries to stop the crew, revealing that his reformation wasn't entirely fake. The crew feels betrayed, believing Wolf sold them out. Snake is particularly hurt, seeing Wolf's change as abandoning their friendship and denying what they truly are. The real twist emerges. Professor Marmalade was the mastermind behind a larger criminal conspiracy all along, using the bad guys as scapegoats. He's been stealing charity money and planning an even bigger crime while hiding behind his reformed image. He framed the bad guys to take the fall. Wolf must convince his crew that real change is possible and worth pursuing, that they can be more than what society expects, and that choosing good isn't betraying who they are, but becoming who they could be. The Bad Guys explores how stereotypes shape identity and behavior. The crew are predator animals that society instinctively fears. Wolves, snakes, sharks, piranhas, and tarantulas all carry negative associations. People see them and assume danger and malice. The film shows how being constantly treated as dangerous can make you embrace being dangerous because that's the only role available. This reflects real experiences of people judged by appearance, background, or identity. When society decides you're bad before knowing you, when opportunities are denied because of what you are rather than who you are, becoming what they already think you are can feel like the only option. Wolf's transformation begins when someone treats him differently. That one moment of being seen as good rather than bad opens a door he didn't know existed. The film suggests that how we treat people shapes who they become, that expectations influence behavior powerfully. The film examines the difference between performing goodness and genuinely being good. Wolf initially fakes reformation as a con, another heist where the target is public perception, but the performance affects him. Acting good makes him feel good, which makes him want to actually be good. This raises interesting questions about authenticity. If you do good things for selfish reasons initially, does that invalidate the good? If performing kindness makes you genuinely kind over time, Does it matter that you started fake? The film suggests that the distinction between real and performed virtue blurs when the performance is sustained. Snake represents resistance to change and the belief that nature is fixed. He's Wolf's best friend, but believes they're predators who should embrace their nature rather than deny it. His perspective isn't presented as simply wrong, but as understandable. Change is scary, especially when your identity is built on what everyone expects you to be. The tension between Wolf and Snake is really about different responses to prejudice. Wolf chooses to prove stereotypes wrong by changing. Snake chooses to embrace stereotypes and find pride in being what people fear. Both are valid responses to being othered, though the film ultimately argues that Wolf's path offers more freedom. Marmalade represents hypocrisy and the performance of virtue for selfish gain. He's supposedly reformed, but is actually more criminal than ever, using his good guy image as cover. The contrast with Wolf shows that true reformation requires genuine change, not just public relations. The film also explores friendship and whether relationships survive when one person changes. Snake fears losing his best friend to this new identity. He sees Wolf's reformation as betrayal of their partnership and their shared identity as bad guys. The question becomes whether friendship can adapt to growth or whether it's tied to staying the same. The climax forces the entire crew to choose between their old identity and new possibilities. Wolf must convince his friends that changing isn't betrayal but growth. That being good doesn't mean denying their predators, but choosing what to do with those instincts. That society's expectations don't have to determine who they become. The crew joins Wolf in stopping Marmalade's plan, choosing to be heroes despite years of being villains. Each member has a moment of choice, deciding that maybe being good feels better than being bad, that being feared isn't as satisfying as being valued. Snake's redemption is particularly important because he's been the most resistant. His eventual choice to help shows that even the most skeptical can change when shown genuine love and purpose. His transformation required seeing that Wolf's change didn't mean abandoning their friendship, but inviting Snake into something better. The resolution shows the bad guys as reformed criminals working to make amends. They're not suddenly perfect, but they're trying. Society hasn't fully accepted them, but they've accepted themselves in new ways. The film presents reformation as ongoing work rather than instant transformation. Marmalade faces consequences for his hypocrisy. His downfall shows that performing goodness while being privately evil eventually gets exposed. The contrast with the bad guys, who were publicly evil but chose to become genuinely good, reinforces the theme about authenticity versus performance. The ending shows the bad guys as a crew still, but now using their skills for good. They haven't lost their edge or become unrecognizable. They've redirected their talents toward helping rather than hurting. The film argues that change doesn't mean becoming someone completely different, but choosing different actions with who you already are. The animation is stylish and energetic, drawing inspiration from comic books and heist films. The visual style uses bold colors, dynamic angles, and expressive character animation that captures the energy of heist movies. The action sequences are creative and well choreographed, using each character's unique abilities in clever ways. The character designs make each crew member distinctive and expressive. Wolf's smooth charm, Snake's skeptical expressions, Shark's enthusiastic energy, all of this comes through in the animation. The designs balance being appealing while also maintaining the predator edge. The 100-minute runtime keeps the pacing tight and energetic. The film moves quickly through its heist plot while giving emotional beats room to breathe. The balance between action, comedy, and character development maintains engagement throughout. The voice performances bring personality and depth. Wolf sounds charming but vulnerable. Snake sounds tough but hurt. The chemistry between the cast makes the crew's friendship believable and their conflicts meaningful. The humor works across ages. Physical comedy during heists entertains everyone. Character-based humor and verbal wit reward attention. The comedy never undercuts the emotional stakes or the themes about change and acceptance. The heist elements provide structure and excitement. The film uses genre conventions cleverly, with twists, reveals, and elaborate plans that pay off satisfyingly. The heist framework makes the character development accessible through familiar storytelling. The soundtrack is energetic and complements the stylish visuals. The music enhances action sequences and emotional moments while maintaining the film's cool, confident tone. The Bad Guys offers a heist comedy that's really about stereotypes, redemption, and choosing who you want to be when everyone's already decided for you. Wolf's journey from embracing villainy to genuinely seeking goodness shows that change is possible even when society has written your story. That being treated as bad doesn't mean you must be bad. That experiencing kindness can open doors to becoming kind yourself. The crew's transformation demonstrates that change happens in community. Wolf couldn't reform alone. He needed his friends to join him, to support each other through the scary process of becoming different than expected. The film shows that growth often requires support from people who know and accept you. For young viewers, the film provides exciting heist action, humor, and appealing characters while planting seeds about not judging by appearance, about people's capacity to change, and about choosing your own path rather than accepting society's script. For older viewers, the themes about stereotypes becoming self-fulfilling prophecies, about the performance of virtue versus genuine goodness, and about whether people can change resonate with real social dynamics and personal growth challenges. The 100-minute runtime provides substance while maintaining strong entertainment value. The film balances its various elements successfully, creating something that works as a heist movie while offering genuine emotional and thematic depth. What makes The Bad Guys meaningful is its honest exploration of how prejudice shapes behavior. When society treats you as dangerous, becoming dangerous makes sense. Breaking that cycle requires both internal choice and external support, people willing to see you differently than stereotype suggests. The film's message that performing goodness can lead to genuine goodness is encouraging without being naive. It doesn't pretend that change is instant or easy. Wolf struggles with his old instincts. The crew resists and doubts. Society doesn't immediately accept them. But sustained effort toward being better eventually creates real transformation. Snake's resistance and eventual change add complexity. His skepticism about reformation is valid. He's been hurt by society's prejudice and found identity in embracing what people fear. His journey shows that the most resistant can still change when shown that change doesn't mean losing yourself, but expanding who you are. The contrast between The Bad Guys and Marmalade is crucial. Both are performing reformation initially. The difference is that The Bad Guys' performance becomes real through genuine effort and emotional growth, while Marmalade's remains pure performance hiding worse corruption. The film distinguishes between fake virtue for gain and starting fake, but becoming real through commitment. For anyone who's been stereotyped, judged before being known, treated as dangerous or less than because of appearance or background, The Bad Guy's journey offers validation and hope. The film says that society's expectations don't have to define you, that you can choose different paths even when barriers exist. For anyone who's struggled with whether they can change, whether past actions define future possibilities, the film provides encouragement. Change is possible. It's difficult and requires sustained effort, but becoming better than you were is always an option regardless of where you started. The image of the bad guys using their criminal skills for heroism captures the film's message perfectly. They haven't become completely different people. They're still a crew of predator animals with the same talents and edge. But they've redirected those qualities toward helping rather than hurting, showing that change doesn't require erasing yourself, but choosing different actions. The Bad Guys reminds us that people are more than their stereotypes, that change is possible when supported, and that choosing goodness when everyone expects badness is its own form of rebellion. That sometimes becoming who you want to be starts with pretending until it becomes real. The film says that society's expectations are powerful, but not destiny. That being treated as bad doesn't mean you must be bad. That the role you've been playing can change if you're willing to write new lines and find people who'll accept your new performance. This has been Picture Mavericks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.